Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So I just want to start off this video by saying I am actually really ill at the minute, so if you can notice a difference in my voice, that is why. I don't know why I've catched a cold in the middle of the summer, but I have, and it's mostly just my throat which is hurting the most, which is not very ideal, especially when you do voiceovers 3 times a week, but hopefully you guys don't mind, but that is why there might be a slight difference in my voice. But in today's video, I am going to be building kind of like a Mediterranean style house in Oasis Springs. Now, I know Island Living has just come out and I believe I've done 3 videos so far. And I just kind of wanted to give it a break for a little bit. I don't really want to wear myself out and produce loads of the same kind of content. And so I thought I'd just build something in Oasis Springs because I feel like this way I still get to use all the new items and use all the new plants, and I still am using all the Island Living stuff, but it's not just in the world of Sulani, it's in a different world, and I absolutely love this build. So I did actually use a reference picture when I was building the main structure. If I'll find it, I'll put the link in the description box so you can have a look. But I absolutely love the way this build turned out. At first I was going more from the reference picture, but then as it developed I kind of made it into my own and I just absolutely love it. This is probably one of my favourite builds I've ever done in this world of Oasis Springs. But this house is a 3-bedroom and 1-bathroom house. Initially when I actually went in and built this, I was going to make it 2 bedrooms because I had this room which I was going to make into a dining room, but then I realised how big the actual hallway was, and so it ended up just being another bedroom. So there is 3 bedrooms in this house and there is 1 bathroom. And one of the things I actually really enjoyed doing with this house and in the process of building it was actually the landscaping. So with Island Living we got so many new bushes and plants and trees and just so many different landscaping items. And all the builds that I've done so far, I've only kind of used a few of them because I've been doing a lot of builds on kind of like the sandy areas, so more like the water lots, and I don't necessarily feel like they need a ton of landscaping, and so I haven't actually properly dove in and just played around with the landscaping. But when I was building in Oasis Springs, I do need to landscape it, and I use so many of the new plants and I just absolutely love it. And I didn't even notice half the plants that we actually got with that pack because I have been using a lot of the palm trees and a few flowers here and there, but we actually got quite a lot of just trees in general, which I did not realize when I was actually building my previous videos. And so in this build there is a lot of pink flowers and it is all from the new Island Living pack. There is also a mix of different kind of flowers from different packs, but it's mainly just the Island Living pack which I used when I was building this. And I feel like all these new plants work so well in Oasis Springs, especially these little bushes over here with kind of like these little roses or flowers in them. I think they're so beautiful and they come in some really lovely swatches, and there's actually 2 versions of this bush. There's one version that has around 5 or 6 swatches in and they've got these really big flowers, and then there's another version which has kind of like daisy like flowers and they only come in 3 swatches. But I absolutely love the landscaping in this. I had so much fun landscaping, and typically landscaping is not my favorite thing to do. I just prefer more the building and the furnishing, but I had so much fun landscaping with all these new plants and trees, and I just absolutely love it. So hopefully you guys like it as well. So this house is placed on a 30 by 20 lot in obviously Oasis Springs, and when I was building this there is actually a neighbouring house which I've also got a speed build on. I'll put a card on the screen now if you want to go and watch that one. But I wanted it to look very similar to that one, but I didn't want it to look like it was exactly the same. And as this house will be my save file and it's something that I'm doing in all the worlds, I want all the houses that are close together to look like they've had the same person build them. So they were like kind of placed in at the same time, or they're built at the same time, and that's why they look so similar. I still obviously wanted there to be a difference, and so I did do that in the kind of like the actual structure of the house, but the wallpapering and the roofing is the same. And I really like that because I find, especially in England where I live, a lot of the houses were kind of built at the same time, so they all look very similar, but they are like different in their own ways. They do have their own character, but I just want them to look as if they kind of were built at the same time, they had the same person building them, and that's why I decided to go for this wallpaper and this kind of roof tile. The wallpaper is actually from Jungle Adventure, by the way, and I do actually end up using that pack quite a lot in this build. I'm not quite sure on the other packs that I use. I know that I definitely did use Island Living though, because I use quite a lot of the new items and a lot of the new furniture and stuff, But as always, the build details will be in the description box down below, and down there I'll have all the packs that I use, the lot size and the price and all that. So if you are curious on what packs that I've used and all that kind of stuff, you can find that in the description box down below. But as you can kind of see, I am just wrapping up the landscaping now and just finishing up the exterior, kind of like the front exterior. I am going to move on to the back garden kind of area in a minute, but I don't actually show the landscaping for that one just because I felt like I was using the same plants, but it's just kind of in different placements. And I often do this just because I feel like sometimes it's a little bit boring to watch someone put a load of plants down for like 10 minutes straight, and so I did decide to cut it out. I did actually have quite a lot of problems as well when I was trying to figure out how the back garden was going to go, because it was actually quite a small back garden, and you'll see me kind of move the lot forward just one square in a little bit because I really wanted to have a really nice big grand swimming pool as you walk out the kind of patio doors. But the look of the swimming pool wasn't going that well, and so I did decide just to move it forward just one, like the whole lot forward just one, and so then I could extend the pool out a little bit more and it would just kind of look a little bit more symmetrical to me. I could have had it as it was, but I kind of felt like it just needed to be a little bit bigger, so I did just end up moving the lot forward just one, but it didn't actually delete anything. It was just kind of a smaller walk up to the house. But now I'm actually placing in furniture into the build for the very first time, and I actually started off with just kind of like this little pool area, which I absolutely love. It's probably one of my favorite areas of the back garden. I think it just came together so lovely, and it's just at the very end of the pool, so I chose the side which was kind of in the sun because I was thinking, like, if your Sims wanted to sunbathe, they'd probably want to actually sunbathe in somewhere that's not in the shade. And so on this one side of the pool I just have these little sunbeds, and in a minute I'm actually going to put a little bar area, and I just absolutely love the way this bit turned out. And one of them trees that is actually in the background, I did not realise they were trees, so them kind of little circular bushes, they're actually trees, and they're one of the items that when I actually went in and built this house today that I actually realised that we had. I hadn't actually seen them before this, and so I really wanted to make as much use out of them, and so I did kind of like a little cluster of some really nice coloured flowers just behind him, and I just think it really just feels like holiday to me. I don't know, it's just something weird. I just, whenever I was building this and I was seeing it, I was just thinking that it really reminded me of being like in a hotel or something. I just absolutely love it. But now I am just doing this little bar area, and I really wanted to make use of these kind of dividers that we got in the new pack, and I haven't used them yet and I've really wanted to use them, and I was kind of thinking of all the different ways that I would kind of implement them into this build, and then I kind of thought that I could do this little bar area, and as the lot isn't actually properly sectioned off, there is no actual fence, I thought it would look really nice if it would kind of be the back of the fence, but it would kind of act as if it was a fence. I just really like it, so hopefully you guys like it as well. But now I am just finishing up the exterior, and I'm just going around and putting a little bit of terrain paint, and I'm actually going to go around now and just add a few lights. These lights are now actually some of my favourite, if not my favourite lights that we have in the game, and it is some of the lights that we got with the new pack Island Living, and I just think they're so lovely. They are really expensive though, which I think they're like 200 simoleons per light, which is actually really expensive for a light, but I just think they're so worth it. They're so beautiful. But now I'm moving on and doing the kind of floor plan of this house, and so as you can kind of see, that room just at the very front of the house with the two double windows in, that is what I originally was planning to be kind of like the dining room. But then when I actually came round to doing the dining room area, that is when I change it and make it into kind of like an extra bedroom. And so there will be an archway until I do that, but that does actually become the third bedroom. But now I am just placing the lights in, and now I'm actually going to move on and start furnishing the house. So I did actually start furnishing with the lounge room first. Now I didn't actually initially go in and start with the lounge room. I actually had such a problem when I was going in and building this because I couldn't figure out how I wanted the kitchen to look, and I played around with it so much, and then I just kind of said to myself, I'll come back to it when I've got a clearer mind of what I want to do with the kitchen. And so that is exactly what I did. And I feel like sometimes if you're building and you're struggling on kind of interior design, that is a really good way just to kind of refresh your mind. So I did start off with the lounge room, and I just kind of, once I placed that down, I do then go back into the kitchen, and I had a clearer mindset of what I wanted, and I absolutely do love the kitchen. But talking about this little lounge room a little bit, so I do use the new 3-seater sofas which we got in the pack. I am yet to use the other 3-seater we got, but these are now my favourite sofas in the game. I absolutely love them, and I actually use them in a different swatch this time. So far I've only used them in the white swatch, but today I decided to use him in a kind of like a darker swatch, so it's kind of got this black mesh and white and black pillows, and I absolutely love it. I also paired it with one of the fireplaces that we got with Get Together, or I think it might be actually the only fireplace that we've got with Get Together, but it's this really lovely modern looking fireplace, and whenever I typically tend to do more modern interiors, it's the fireplace that I always go to. I absolutely love it, and it comes in so many different swatches. And then I also did just place a Seasons rug down, and that Seasons rug is kind of known as the avocado rug because it's in kind of like an avocado shape, but I use it in the zebra swatch and I absolutely love it. That is one of my favorite rugs to use, especially in modern interiors. And now I'm just doing this little kind of desk area over in the corner. As by this point I knew what size the parents' bedroom was going to be, I knew there wouldn't be enough space to have kind of like a computer in there, and typically I don't ever really tend to put computers in more parents' bedrooms anyway, and so I decided to make that a little family computer area in the corner. Both of the other bedrooms do have computers in them though, but I was thinking that maybe there was still a family computer in the house, or maybe one of the parents has more of a office job or something that requires them to be on the computer quite a lot, and so I decided to do that little family computer area in the corner. And now I'm just going around the room and just adding some more items. I felt like it was really empty, and I felt like it was quite difficult to actually decorate the space because it was in kind of a weird shaped room, and at the minute there isn't actually anything next to the desk on the left hand side, and I struggled with that quite a lot. And at the very end of the video I do actually go back and add a little art easel. I felt like it was really plain and just a bare area, and so I still wanted there to be something. I did actually try and add a bookcase there, but I felt like it really wasn't working. Plus I do actually have a bookcase right next to the fireplace on one side. I use the fitness stuff one, which I'm actually finding myself using quite a lot regularly, and I don't know why, but recently I've been tending to use that bookcase in a lot of bedrooms as well. But now I am actually just finishing up the lounge room, and I just wanted to put kind of like a center table in, and I actually played around with that for quite some time because I didn't want it to be as big as it was, but then I kind of sized it down, but then I do actually making it the original size. And so the coffee table is actually a vintage Glamour one. I did actually use a Get Famous one originally and I sized that down, but I just didn't feel like it was working, so in the end I used a vintage Glamour marble one. But now I'm actually moving on and I'm doing the kitchen. So by this point I had a kind of a clear vision what I wanted the kitchen to look like, and I absolutely love this kitchen. So in here I actually used a mixture of two different wallpapers, and they're both the new wallpapers that we got with Island Living. One is kind of like a weaven or woven, I'm not sure how you say it, texture wallpaper, and the other one I'm not sure if it's a tile or not, but it kind of looks as if it is a tile. And as the counters don't actually have that much texture on them, I felt like if I just would have used one wallpaper instead of two and like not had that texture breakup, it would have looked a little bit strange. And so I feel like it was a good decision to decide to use two different wallpapers in here. I believe I used the woven one on the majority of the walls, and then I kind of used the tile one on kind of like the wall where the fridge is, so kind of like the main kitchen area. And then I also used it on the wall which has the archway leading into the kitchen. I really love the way this kitchen turned out, but I'm really hoping that we do actually get the matching cabinets to this counter as well as the matching kind of bar item, because at the minute I just had to kind of improvise and use the counters as if they was like a bar. And then I also use the Parenthood upper head cabinets because they do actually come in a similar swatch. But now I'm actually moving on and doing the little hallway area. So in here we just have kind of like a TV area, and this obviously is the hallway into the house, and so we do actually also have kind of like the back door and the front door all kind of into one. But I decided to make this into the dining room because it was such a big area, and it was actually a really good size for a dining area as well. And I feel like this way you can have more Sims living in this house, and I just felt like it would be better if I made the hallway into part dining room. I just absolutely love it. But now I'm actually doing just kind of like the little front door area, and I did actually use that painting on purpose because that painting which we've had in the game since I believe base game, or it is a base game item, I think we've had it since launch, actually really looks like Sulani, and so I did actually use that on purpose because obviously Island Living's just come out, and I just kind of wanted to bring a little bit of Island Living into the world of Oasis Springs. But now moving on, I'm doing the bathroom. So like I said, there is only one bathroom in this house, but it is quite a big bathroom. It has both a shower and a bath, and then also just kind of like a toilet and the sink and all the kind of normal toilet items that you would need. Both the shower and the bathtub are actually from the fitness stuff pack, and something that I realised when I was actually doing the bathroom is there is actually quite a lot of fitness stuff in this house in general. So that is definitely one of the top packs that I used when I was building this house. I just felt like all of the furniture just kind of matched really nicely with the kind of theme that I was going for in the house in general, and especially in the bathroom. But in this bathroom I did again use the same Spardo wallpaper and flooring that I used, and I believe my last two builds I just really really like this wallpaper at the minute. I don't know what is wrong with me because I haven't really used it that much since Spa Days come out, but recently I've been so attached to it and I absolutely love it, and I feel like it really goes well with the new pack. And I've said it in my last few videos and I'm gonna say it again, but it does actually go really nicely with island living. But now moving on, I'm starting furnishing one of the bedrooms. So like I said, initially I actually thought that this was going to be a dining room, so I didn't actually have an idea of what kind of sim was going to live in here or anything like that. I just kind of went in and started furnishing it. Originally I actually went for this more orange theme, and I don't know why I started to go for an orange theme. I've never really done an orange bedroom, I don't think. But for some reason I wanted to go for it today. I think it's because of the bedspread and there was a lot of orange and different shades of it. And so I tried to kind of entertain it at first, and I tried to match an orange rug to the bedspread, but I just couldn't find one that was working. And so at this point when I was choosing other rugs, I did actually just completely change the colour theme for the room. And so it ends up being this kind of lighter wood and just a white kind of room, and I feel like this could be maybe for a butler or maybe some grandparents or something. Like I said, when I initially did the floor plan for this house, I was thinking that this was going to be the dining room, and so I kind of do it in my head without realising, but I kind of have an idea of which sims are going to live in what rooms and what kind of personalities they're going to have. But for this room I didn't really have one of them, so it's just kind of like a standard room. A butler could live in here, or a grandparents, or whoever you want. It's just kind of got no real distinct personality shining through. It's just kind of like a basic kind of room. Just, it's still cluttered, but it's not really got a distinctive kind of personal touch in it. But in here I do just have a little chest of drawers, a bed, and then a little desk area as well. And I still wanted there to be an activity in the room, and so that is why I decided to add a little desk in here. But now moving on to the other bedroom. So this bedroom I did know what I wanted to do with all the new island living stuff. Quite a lot of the swatches do have quite a high influence of pink in them, so from the bed to some of the sofas, and I just really wanted to use this bed in this pink swatch. I just think it's so beautiful, and pink is one of my favourite colours, and so I really wanted to use it, and so I decided to use it in this build. I was kind of thinking that this room could possibly be for a teenager, and so I do have some more teenage items here and there. I have some kind of nail varnish and some little bits and bobs that kind of indicate the kind of age range for this room, but this is probably my favourite bedroom just because I've really been wanting to use this colour swatch of this bed. I just think it's so beautiful, and so I'm really happy that I got to use it in this build. I also did just use this Dine Out poster or kind of picture that we got, and I used it because it has some kind of different tones of pinks and purples in them, and I felt like as the bedroom is all white walls, it just kind of ties the room in all together and definitely just kind of brings the pink in all together. And now I am just finishing the room up. I just used that fitness stuff rug. Initially I was going to use it in this kind of pink swatch with tones of orange and yellow and stuff, but I do actually just change it to be just kind of like a white and grey swatch instead. But now moving on to the last bedroom in this house, which is the parents' bedroom. So in here I use the same bed, but I just use it in a different swatch, and I really do like this swatch, but I find it really hard to match kind of like the bedside tables with it because we don't actually have any bedside tables in the same swatch of wood that the bed comes in. I just find it's really difficult to match it, but I just ended up putting some black ones in anyway. But in this bedroom I do just have kind of like the standard bed and some little bedside tables and also a chest of drawers as well. But anyway guys, I am actually going to end this voiceover here. As always, you can download this house via the gallery. My origin ID is JessicapieYT, or you can just search for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie, and then you'll find me on the gallery and download this build this way. But anyway, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me build this Mediterranean style house, and as always, if you do like my content, then please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speed building video. Bye guys!